test that out. Okay, now let me just get those windows set up so I can actually see chat, and just get started while we're waiting to see if anyone rolls in here. Well, actually, before we get started, there's one thing I wanted to get out of the way. After the last video I posted on YouTube about Caleb Maupin and his visit with the fascists and the way he sucked up to Dugan, not that he's a Nazbol or anything, he decided to put me on blast, calling me a liar as well. So, and it turned out what he was specifically taking issue with, the only one thing that he took issue with specifically, was the statement that his father was a banker. Now, just to be clear, the only reason I wouldn't have said that if I hadn't also heard that in other places. And it turns out it was actually a joke that a lot of people misinterpreted. I mean, if you Google Caleb Maupin father, you find all sorts of references to this. But what I want to just say is, after he said that, I decided to just check it out myself, because I don't consider it advisable to take anything that Caleb Maupin says as read without some independent corroboration. So I decided to look into it. Now, I'm not going to publicly identify Caleb Maupin's father. I'm not going to dox his dad, which would be extremely easy, which is why I'm being very careful, because I've got no problem with his father. I don't want to fuck with his father. But one thing that I can confirm with a high degree of certainty is that he's not a banker, has never worked in finance, and is in a completely different field altogether. On the other hand, another thing that can be said is that he isn't exactly proletarian, but he's not a banker. So I know a lot of people got the wrong idea. I had heard it on a stream, a joint stream of the Surfs and Thought Slime, and the reason I had actually thought it was a statement of fact is because there was sort of a pause. This is the one where he's talking about how he went to Ecuador and discovered there was poverty in the world. And the way it was phrased, as far as there was sort of a pause when the two of them were talking about, well, what does his dad do that he's going to business trips to Ecuador? I thought that one of them had looked it up. When, in fact, I raised that the other day after I got put on blast by Caleb Maupin to see where they'd gotten that, and it turns out it was actually just meant to be a joke. It was a bit, and I'd misunderstood it. But in any case, his father's not a banker. He's still an asshole. And we'll probably end up talking about a little bit more about that. But if you go to that video that I uploaded about his speech with the Nazbols and in Moscow, you'll find that I actually blurred out the part about the humble son of an international banker. And the reason I did that is because, based on my own research, it's not true, and I prefer to have a go at him over the stuff that is true, because there's plenty of true stuff that's wrong with him and all he does. But the banker dad thing, that turns out not to be true. So maybe we should probably stop saying that. I can understand why anyone got the idea. I had the same misunderstanding, but turns out it's not true. So there we are. And with that, I think we're going to switch over and just do a little bit of chess while we're waiting to see if any visitors file in here. On this dark and stormy night. Okay. Rook in the knight. Let's see, Queen takes B7 in my near future. That's not check, so I figure it becomes a much less of a threat if I just take, actually it's a three-way fork. I've forked the knight, the bishop, the two knights and a rook. And without that knight, that queen becomes much less of a problem. So let's do that. Okay, moving to the next game. Prepare to take the opposition on the next move or the move after that, as we're moving on another rook checkmate. Pressure on this pawn. And okay. That covers my daily games. Okay, play a little bit of rapid. Move. Castle, and now that pin that they were hoping to rely on is no longer a thing. I'll just take this.
조용히 불로만 보아도 솟아오르는 눈부신 아침해를 보는 듯 그 이름처럼 황홀한 아침의 이 나라에 제야의 종소리 울려 퍼진다. 희망찬 새해가 왔다.
이의 힘과 기상, 이의 녹시며 행복의 전부이신
Not my move yet.
웃음의 미소로 밝아온 새해. 말하라 2018년이여, 너는 무엇을 안고 왔느냐?
새해여, 너는 안고 왔구나. 사랑하는 인민을 받드는 참된 중복이 되어
Let's see. How many attackers does this pawn here got?
오의 그 불같으신 진정을 흘러간
Two.
365
The knight
날에
and the queen. I've got 3 defenders.
소중하여라 그 하루하루. 숨결처럼 흘러드는 사랑이 있어. 억한 시련 속에서도 가장 큰 행복을 누려온 나날이여. 우리 수령님들 맡겨주신 인민을 위해 인민이 선택하고 인민이 좋아하는 사회주의 한 길로 트팀없이 가리라. 그 누구도 꺾을 수 없고 허물 수도 없는
Put a little pressure on
김정은
that.
장군의 불굴의 신념과
do
결심을
that.
안고 줄기차게 흘러온 한 해여.
바로 그이가 우리의 운명이고 미래이기에 그이가 계시여 세상이 부러워하는 조선이 있고 무궁한 인민의 세월이 있기에 하늘 땅 끝이라도 따르리라. 가다가 숨이 친 게도 기어이 따르리라.
Okay.
녹수로 태양을 따라 나선 인민.
아거리 새해여, 너는 안고 왔구나. 원수님을 아버지라 부르며 따르는 인민을 귀중한 살부치로 여기신 그이와 맺어진 그 뜨겁고도 눈물겨운 혈연의
Just need to
정을
keep adding the defenders.
안고 왔구나. 소나무 책가방 메고 학교 길어 가는 아이들의 웃음꽃 더 밝게 피워주시려. 그리도 마음 쓰신 오보이의 그 로고를
Annoyingly,
인민이
I don't seem to
주인되어
have a
갖고
direct attack on
가는
that
이
queen
나라의
yet.
황금산 황금볼 황금해를 더 아름답게 빛내주시려. 온 한해 바쳐오신 그의 헌신의 자욱자욱을 남 모르는 고생길 웃으며 헤치시어 우리에게 안겨주신 햇빛 밝은 행복의 길들을
인도자로서 인간으로서 바칠 수 있는 모든 것을 다 바치시면서도 받으셔야 할 모든 것은 그리도 겸허히 사양하신 분.
잊을 수 없어라. 위대한 김일성 민족 김정일 조선의 위상을 온 세계 만방에 높이 떨치신 그이께 우리 군대와 인민의 간절한 소망이 담긴 영웅 칭호를 삼가 수여에 드리려는 소박한 총을 올렸던 그 날이
자신에게는 민의 믿음이면 그만이다. 이 세상 제일 훌륭한 인민들에게 더 많은 훈장과 메달을 달아주자고 뜨겁게 말씀하시며 국방과학 전사들과 황금의
Oh,
창조자들,
that'll work.
부등판의 개척자들과 려명거리 건설자들, 그 일은 그렇듯 많은 사람들의 가슴을 이불의 금별로 빛내주시었거리.
아, 조국이여 인민이여, 저 하늘 수억만 개의 별이라도 따다내려 삼가 드린데도 모자랄 우리의 마음이건만, 그이께 드릴 수 있는 고마움의 인사, 감사의 인사는 정녕 이 땅 위에
Oh,
없단
this is a fork
말인가.
too.
이런 분이시다 우리 원수림은. 위대한
Oh
수령님들을
shit, this is good.
인민을 받들어
I'm
오신
enjoying
분,
this.
자신의
He
천만
moves
노고와
over
피땀으로
here, then I've got him
엮은
this way.
행복의 금방
Or
속에
I've got them this
고스란히
way.
인민을 앉혀주신 우리의 최고령도자
Blocks with their
김정은
knight.
동지.
Then I can just take
고마운 그 손길, 은혜로운
and
생명의
still attack the
젖줄기를
queen.
꿈에서도
Yes.
놓을 수 없어.
Okay, I'm
이룰
enjoying
수
this.
없어.
Obviously, takes the
순임으로
rook check, then
목매여
I just take
돋치던
back.
뜻깊은 서울의
And I'm up
경축광장의
look for a queen, which isn't bad.
인민의 심장의 외침도
Oh, I've got my choice of what to take with
눈은
if
안고
there's a
왔어라.
blocking going on, because I've
이
also
세상
got
누구도 가를 수 없는
this B2 bishop pointed right at this square.
혁명과 승리로 찬연히 빛나는 역사의 날과 날들이 이 땅 위에 새겨지고, 우리의 북극성과 화성들이 김정은 장군이 목숨처럼 여기시는 인민의
And
초롱
on top of that,
인민의락원을 지켜 정쾌한 뇌성 높이 솟구쳐 올랐다.
이 세상 누구도 흉내낼 수 없고 가질 수도 없는 그 위대한 일심일체 속에서
Oh, wow. And I've opened up the long diagonal here. Check that out.
우리의 힘, 우리의 기술로 새고리 새 공장은 보란듯이 일도서고 무쇠 철마의 대군단은 탄생했다. 인민이 스스럼 없이 토치는 사회주의 만세, 조선노동당 만세의 우롱찬 외침은 온 노래에 높이 높이 울려 퍼졌다.
Oh, this is fun.
군수들은 피를
I can
물고
fork.
날뛰었다.
I could do a royal fork.
그러나 조선을 너무도 몰랐거니 우리의 하늘 땅 바다에 그 모든 것을 제재할 수 있었어도 영도자와 인민이 하나로 굳게 이어진 그 뜨겁고도 열렬한 심장,
Actually,
그 무한한 사랑과 충정의 세계, 그
let's
도도하고
start
거세
out
찬
easy.
긍절의 대가는 결코 그 무엇으로도 허물 수도 막을 수도 없었거리.
이난할 우리는
Now,
알았소다.
okay, now I've still got the royal fork, so let's have it.
귀중한 것을
Either take my queen or I take your queen. Either way, I'm having the queen.
오기한 것과 바꾸라고 하면
That's what I thought, and that's what the check.
조인이니 심장 속 깊은 곳에 새기고 새긴 곳은 오직 한 분 김종은 장군을 따르는 길에서는
And now there's a potential back rank possibility here.
영광이라는
Or you can
혁명의
just give me your rook. That's another way of doing this. And that's a checkmate.
보람차게 해준 길이었기에 설사 이보다 더 목한 시련과 난관이 있다 해도
Okay, was that
군수님만 따르면
Oh,
언제나
rematch. Okay,
이긴다는,
why not?
군수님만 믿으면 두려울 것 없다는 적불별의 신념과 의지를 안고 새해여 너는 밝아왔구나.
축하하노라 새해여, 이제 솟아오를 열정의 불덩어리, 새날의 태양이여 축하하노라. 너는
Is
이
the spoken word
해도
part going for long?
수령이 위대하고
Actually, I think I've got to pull it that deep on me. Since I've got the chance, nothing's been done to prevent it. There we go, that's nice. Take up a little bit more central space. Well, I mean, that's an understandable decision. Kind of disappointing, because I was really hoping to take with my queen, because the whole variation, you put the queen here, and then you can't get out that bishop, and then you're basically threatening mate for the entire game, and either they're constantly guarding G7, G2, or G7 when you're playing it with white, or you've just got mate in one, and it's just a constant threat. It's very handy. Oh, fork, thank you. Yeah, don't mind that. Okay. Not a whole lot of spaces for this queen to go already. No, you're not stay in the same general area of the board, why? Okay. Well, there's a free pawn there. And I get to attack. We'll put some pressure on that knight. Ah, that was daft. That was not a great move on my part. Well, it would have been a much worse move if I was playing somebody who saw tactics, but either they're having not a great day, or they just don't see them. Okay, let's see. Fuck it. Have a queen trade, or offer one anyway, and if it's declined, I can just take a knight. Of course, yeah. I mean, I've had days and not long ago either where I've played like this. Say, well, like shit. Sometimes you just have a bad day. It's entirely possible that Facile Tech is, Facile Tech, I don't know. No flag by the name is considerably stronger than they look right now, and is just having a shitty day. Happens to us all, but I don't mind. I like it when I actually win on stream. It looks better. Okay. bright is that night?
사랑 아니면 들 수 없었던 아픔에도 들어가면
I saw it. Take that. Probably gonna take back the queen. Which points? Yeah. Yes, I'm in check, but on the other hand, that knight is pinned for the moment. Really? For me? Oh, maybe they're expecting a fork there. The trouble with that. Oops. I recently learned that there's an entire generation of people who are not familiar, apparently, with the fact that colon closed brackets is a smile. I had to explain that to somebody. The last time I had to explain that to somebody was sometime in the mid-1990s. At this point, oh, can't do that, it's pinned. Rook move is going to be required, probably. Unless this is an unfortunate non-tactical rook sacrifice. Oh, okay. Okay, fork the rook and the knight there. Yeah, your knight's still attacked though. Actually, your knight really doesn't have any squares to go to either. That may be the least worst move. 생활 속에 언제나 정답게 울리는 친근한 그 이름 그리워라 불타는 수많은 심장 우러러 따르며 부르네 Sends the pawn and threatens mating one. Not really anything they can do about that mate? I'm guessing I'm gonna take that pawn anyway. It is a delaying tactic. But it's not gonna make a bit of difference. That will. Well, it could cause me some problems by moving that knight. But if they move that knight, then I'm having the rook. For the cost of a bishop. Ah, okay. And that's the end of the good checks, I think. And is it check? Then I'm playing that. Queen takes F8 and F1, and that should be mates. I don't think there's anything that can be done about that, looking at it. Oh well, and he's moving that. Moving that fucking knight back to where it already was. Oh. Okay. Moving in the wrong window. Okay. God damn it. Okay, fuck it. Trade. Okay.
외쳐지어라 어머니라 부르는
And that's checkmate. Good game.
민족의 높은 존엄도 슬기로운 기상도 향도하는 그 힘 억세여 우리의 빗발치여라 어머니라 부르는 조선 노동당이 있기에 세상을 가슴대로 우린 몰라라 그대밖에
Nice to finally have a decent camera to record these things with. I don't know what it is about laptop designers that they decide that they have to, the built-in camera always has to be a complete piece of shit, where everything looks like glaucoma vision or something. But yes, it's nice to actually have like well-defined outlines and things. And a reasonably good angle. The trouble with these fucking built-in ones is you can never just aim them the way that actually looks good. Okay, how about that for those? Autofocus is good too. Yeah, happy with this. Have another rapid. One thing I quite like about VChess is that you can actually set it to Welsh. You don't get that on many chess websites. Okay, let's play AnCom. Trying to learn the Caro. We're going to play the Advanced. No, we're not. We're going to play this exchange variant. I'm not sure what this is called. But that wasn't the way to do it. Now, it'll be a huge pain in the ass getting my light squared bishop where it needs to be. Get the dark squared one out anyway. I guess I can fianchetto.
선악이 먹으면 복부처럼 흉남이 먹으면 울고 해친다 운용의 모든 꿈 이렇게 가는 우리를 누가 먹으려 전우신
Okay. Okay, why not? See, I wouldn't resign after that. I have. I almost never resign. I resign more on here because it eventually gets boring to watch, but I like to play to a stalemate. And the thing is, I've blundered pretty much every single piece at least a few times, and sometimes I've blundered a whole lot of them, and often enough I can still get a winning position out of that, because the thing is, unless you're playing Grandmasters, chances are you're not the only one who's going to fuck up big over the course of the game. So no reason at all. Really? You think? Okay. Since everybody I'm playing today is not at their best. No rematch requested. Play one more and then we switch over and do something else. Gamaliel Phoenix. That's the first time I've seen the name Gamaliel in a long time. The only time I've ever seen that name is in it's the G in Warren G. Harding. Never heard of anyone being named that other than that. Castle. go and fianchetto that bishop. And I think if I do this right, I can do it with tempo. And get this C4 bishop out of my way. So I kind of find it annoying where it is. Yeah, problem here is, for one thing, oh, okay. F6. I didn't know if that was a good idea to play right now. There are times when you want to play F6, and then there are times like this, where I think all it's really doing is opening up a diagonal directly to the king. This pawn here is hanging. Oh, I see. No, that wasn't good. Thank you, that is why it wasn't good. Okay, gonna take my rook, or are you gonna take my queen? Ah, I'll take my queen. Okay. And that's check. Oh, X-ray Rook as well.
바구니 하나가 철철 넘치니 니나나나나 치마폭 하나를 안고 가자꾸나 하나를 뚝따서 이래라더니 술이 살살 슬쩍 너가 꿀맛 같구나 열매를 따는 처녀는 신바람 나는 날에 니나노 난노 방산이 정말 좋구나.
This stream powered by fucking tap water. I just keep refilling this. Because fuck water privatization. Oh, thank you. And I get a pawn. Actually, potentially 2 pawns. And there's some back rank shit potentially going on as well. Oh shit, that's a check. Oh, yes, but on the other hand... Okay. The short version here is... Piece-wise, I'm kind of fucked, but on the other hand, pawns, I'm actually not bad on them. Yeah, and that G7 pawn is pinned. Can't do anything about that. Yeah, okay, with that queen, it all looks a little bit less good, but... Yeah, let's see, the queen's still hanging. We'll do a move repetition. Okay. There. Okay, yeah, that's bucket. So we've got the rune of reaction fodder. They will not silence us. Suit socialism, destroy the synthetic left. Wearing a synthetic suit. That, incidentally, that's one of the things I learned from Caleb Maupin having a go at me. See, here's the thing. He says that he can't possibly be a Nazgul. He never actually says he rejects any of the ideology, mind you. Of course not. No, but what he does say is that in order to be a Nazgul, you have to be a member of a specific political party. He says Dugin isn't even a Nazgul anymore. Again, not because he rejects the tenets of the ideology, but because the party doesn't exist. On the other hand, I and a huge number of people, many of whom totally disagree on pretty much everything, are all part of something called the synthetic left, which exists. I mean, it definitely exists, because he fucking made it up. Okay, so as we're kind of reeling it in here, I'm gonna move over and we're gonna see the Tuesday night lives today will not silence us. Okay.
Hello.
Hello.
How is everyone doing tonight? Now, tonight I'm streaming.
Oh, hell. No, I'm trying to full screen you. How is everyone doing tonight? Oh wow, he's upped it. He's got a fucking handkerchief in there, it looks like. Fucking silk handkerchief. And he still looks like, I mean, this whole way he's shooting this, apart from the fact that he's shooting it in, like, 8-bit resolution, it's like he'd just been called into fucking HR or something. And he's about to say, yeah, it's about time for you to There's a time in everyone's life, and maybe for you, that's right now, that you have to think about the future. I mean, that's what this fucking looks like. It looks like I'm fired.
With StreamYard. StreamYard. I am using StreamYard. I don't.
Oh, are you
normally
using
do this. I normally
StreamYard?
stream from my phone, but given the current situation with YouTube and everything going on there, I thought I might try to stream with StreamYard. So that's what I'm doing.
Yeah,
for
okay, so
tonight.
what I'm getting
welcome,
is you're
everybody.
streaming with StreamYard.
Glad to be here. Glad that you're here as always. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Be sure to hit the like button. Be sure to hit the subscribe button. Be sure to hit the
Jesus
notifications
Christ!
bell.
This guy.
This
guy, he's asking for a favor, and it makes it look like he's giving you an assignment. And you're somebody who can't be trusted to do it because they've been asked once. This fucking guy.
We are here, despite the best efforts of our detractors. We are not going anywhere. I've got plenty of unnamed diet beverage.
I wonder if he picked that up at Sandwich Shop, where he toured Working Class Life for a semester.
I'm pouring the unnamed diet beverage. It's a little bit different to be staring at my computer screen rather than staring at my iPhone, but that's...
Yes, but still, you look like as much of a prick as you do anyway. I mean...
Okay. That's all good. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the...
Again.
Notifications bell. All right, so the way we do things here is that I give my opening remarks.
God.
And then from there, after I give my opening remarks...
You just give your fucking opening remarks. We don't need you to give an outline of it. Like, seriously, I mean...
From there, then we do our roll call, where I call you out as I see you.
A roll call? Are you fucking kidding? I was joking about the HR thing, and here he is making it real. Actually, I mean, this is more like what I was saying a few weeks ago, that it's like being called into the head teacher's office or some shit.
Names and
roll
locations.
Call.
And then after I call you out as I see you, names and locations, at that point, then I answer your super chat questions for the rest of the night. Then we're done. And that's how things seem to work. So I wish you
That's
all
how things seem to work?
a happy Wednesday, or no, today's Tuesday. I wish you all a happy Tuesday evening. With no further ado, I guess we will get down to business. Now, the reason that there's been a little bit of a shake-up here is because I am unable to upload videos to YouTube at this time. Every time I upload...
I mean, that's a real pity. I mean, where would I ever find the material if he stopped uploading videos? Well, I guess I go to the other right-wingers. I mean, there's always PragerU. It's YouTube. I mean, fucking Steven Crowder. There are lots of right-wing hacks.
Upload a video since Sunday. Every time I upload a video, it says processing will begin shortly and does not upload. I have confronted the Google creator support about this, and they say that my videos are now subject to manual review. I don't know what that means.
Manual review? First of all, of course, being Caleb Maupin, we do have to keep in mind this might not actually be true, but if so, I mean, holy shit. Like, what exactly... What is... I've never even heard of manual review.
I guess it means that their internal team has to manually look at my videos before they can go up. Well, they haven't done it yet,
Yeah, I know. I mean, if my job was to look at your videos, like, actually look at the whole thing without getting to take the piss out of them, I would procrastinate too. Because the thing about your content is it's painful to watch.
I deleted and then re-uploaded. I mean, videos have been waiting, so I don't know when they're going to manually look at my videos. Now, keep in mind, I don't have any strikes. I have never had a strike. I am not in violation of the policies at all. But now,
well, there was the time you platformed a turf. That was kind of TOS. I mean, yeah, spreading what is it? Promoting stereotypes that delegitimize a marginalized group or something like that. Yeah, so you did that. And there's the anti-Semitic shit. Although the thing is, I don't even think it's because of the anti-Semitic shit, because people who are much, much, much more obvious in their anti-Semitic shit don't have any problem uploading to YouTube. So maybe not even that. I mean, there is TOS stuff if you want to look for it, though.
they want to manually review my videos. Now, I don't know if this is going to be every video. I asked them at one point in the exchange. I asked them, I said, should I expect this with every video from here
Is this
forward?
all he's going to talk about?
And they said yes. So they're not really giving me information. I don't know why my videos are being held in anticipation. They'll apparently be discussing issues related to nuclear proliferation. That's a pretty... Right now, we're also streaming on Facebook. Right. Never a good thing. Never, never, never is nuclear war a good thing. You know, Biden took office on a platform of saying that Trump was soft on Putin. It was Putin. So there you go. Just going through here. All right, getting used to.
I haven't actually watched this. The thing
right, we're doing.
I don't really watch these things until I'm streaming because I want to have a sort of a more natural, spontaneous reaction. But so I'm kind of skipping through just to see what he's talking about, to see if there's anything that's actually going to be worth reacting to.
Stay on top of things. That was kind of a good feeling. And, you know, heading into the summit tomorrow, we're just going to have to see what happens in Geneva. You know, see what Biden has to say, see what Putin has to say. And that's really all that we can do.
This is
now,
the best resolution we can get.
The situation with China. As far
360p. Is that his?
You know, the Tibetan separatists are making noise. The Taiwan separatists are making noise. There is an escalation of demonization of China. There's the whole allegation that somehow, you know, who goes by the internet moniker, you know, Thoughts Line. We don't want to say Skippy's name. We just call him Skippy the Bear. But Skippy the Bear says in one of his video streams that democratic centralism have become deeply problematic. So that's a big part of the book. Look, it is shocking to me, okay? I mean, as I'm putting this book together, I just don't get it. And they, in the name of anti-fascism, they're just anti-populist and anti-working class, and that they've taken on a lot of the...
Yeah, except the thing is, being anti... See, what this is there's this idea. Yeah, in fact, it's an idea that is pushed very much by, like, ruling class media, that all the bigotry, all the reactionary ideas, all that's just salt-of-the-earth working class stuff. When, in fact, it is being promoted, has always been promoted by powerful interests. I mean, Fox News isn't a couple of guys run by a couple of guys from down the coal mines in Kentucky on their off hours. That's rich fuckers promoting racism, promoting white supremacism, promoting all sorts of reactionary shit, homophobia, transphobia. I mean, go through all the list, it would take way too long. The idea that reactionary ideology is a working class thing and that opposing reactionary ideology is anti-working class. We'll leave aside that populist is a euphemism for fash. And when he used it, the first time I saw him use it was in his sycophantic speech to a fascist group by the name of the International Eurasian Movement.
teachings of Theodore Adorno, Susan Sontag, and others, and in the name of anti-fascism, they have become deeply problematic. So that's a big part of the book. Look, it is shocking to me, okay? I mean, as I'm putting this book together,
Who the hell's citing Susan Sontag?
just don't get it. It really just shows you how rigged social media really is and how much Orwellian thought control and manipulation of the public there is. Look, in one of his videos, or their videos, Skippy the Bear, who goes by the internet moniker, Thoughtslime.
I've been wondering who the fuck Skippy the Bear is. Okay, so that's been clarified.
We don't want to say Skippy's name. We just call him Skippy the Bear. But Skippy the Bear says in one of his video streams that democratic centralism is an economic mode of production. Right, so Skippy the Bear is making a video. And
where does he say this?
And he's trying to explain what socialism is. And of course, he thinks socialism is just a bunch of independent worker cooperatives competing with each other and functioning according to the profit motive.
Citation fucking needed. I mean, he specifically, in fact, that's actually just a lie. See, Caleb, when I got your dad's occupation wrong, which I did in the best of faith, because everything I heard said one thing, and it seemed plausible based on the information you yourself had provided, that was me getting something wrong. A lie is when you know perfectly well something isn't true, and you say it anyway. For example, when you say that Thoughtslime is advocating worker cooperatives operating based on profit motive, I mean, I know you've actually looked at and made ridiculous, just utterly absurd, bizarre reaction videos to some of the videos in which he talks about what he means by socialism, and you know perfectly well he does not mean that. That's just some shit that you made up.
Couldn't possibly be what they had in the Soviet Union, couldn't possibly be what they have in China, couldn't possibly be what they have in Cuba. Oh, no.
Well, I mean, yeah, see, the thing is, if the working class doesn't actually control the means of production, and there is commodity production for exchange value with private capital accumulation, yeah, that isn't socialism, Caleb. I mean, I once heard from somebody who describes himself as the great sage of our time that it isn't socialism just because the government does it. See, the government did stuff in the Soviet Union, the government does stuff in China, but the thing is, the capitalist mode of production remained basically untouched. They just replaced one set of capitalists with another.
Socialism is this idea that's totally compatible with capitalism. It's just every business is a co-op.
Again, this is just a fucking lie. No, but none of the people he's attacking says this.
What, a centrally planned economy is. So he says, well, a centrally planned economy is this thing that that Lenin made up, and it's called democratic centralism.
Interesting. He's not actually giving us the video that he claims to be responding to, because I've watched pretty much everything that Thoughtslime's done, and some of it more than once, because I just enjoy it. I like the way he does his videos, and I have absolutely no recollection of him ever bringing up the subject of democratic centralism, let alone coming up with the bullshit that he's talking about here.
And you see that, and you just think, that is so ignorant.
Yeah, that thing you just made up, it's so ignorant. If it were true, it would really be discrediting.
Democratic centralism was the political organizational methods of the Bolshevik Party.
Which is in no way incompatible with saying that it was made up by Lenin.
Okay, democratic centralism has nothing to do with centrally planned economies, has nothing to do with 5-year economic plans.
I'd love to see a citation from where Thought Slime's supposed to have said this. Oh, I'm sorry, Skippy the Bear. Because, see, if you say Thought Slime 3 times, he actually sort of shows up in your house in the form of sort of a snake with Michael Keaton's head. So you have to be careful. You can't say Thought Slime too many. Oh, shit, I said it too many times already. Yeah. I would love to see where Thought Slime is supposed to have. Oops, said it again. Is supposed to have said that all this about democratic centralism, because I have not heard him even discuss the issue of democratic centralism, and I somehow don't think that he came up with this bullshit that is being attributed to him by Caleb Maupin. In fact, this would not be the first time that Caleb Maupin has just made shit up and attributed it to him. Like, I mean, the time he called him a Malthusian because he acknowledged the existence of overproduction in capitalism.
I wrote it down. Nothing to do with that. And he sits there and he says, well, actually, this idea that we should have a centrally planned economy was invented by Lenin. It's called democratic centralism.
Yeah, again.
And you hear that and you just think, like,
citation
this
needed.
individual does not know anything about Marxism.
Sort of like that time that you were talking about the actual Marxist view on the family, and you actually left out the bit where family abolition is right in the Communist Manifesto, one of 2 works by Marx and Engels that you demonstrably have some familiarity with.
This person doesn't know anything about Marxism. I mean,
You see, that's kind of the feeling that a lot of us get when we watch your videos, Caleb. This person really does not know shit about Marxism.
Party of New Type, democratic centralism, the Bolshevik organizing methods, these have not, I mean, that's not the same as having a centrally planned economy. One is a political organizing method used by the Bolsheviks to overthrow capitalism. The other is an economic form. And the fact that he does not know what a basic Marxist-Leninist concept like democratic centralism means.
What video is this supposed to be?
Ignorance would make a statement like this. Makes you wonder, how on earth did this individual become the spokesperson for Marxism and socialism on the internet?
Except he isn't the spokesperson for Marxism. He doesn't even call himself a Marxist. He's an anarcho-communist. See, it's possible to know about Marx without being a Marxist. It's possible to have a lot of respect for Marx's work without being a Marxist. I've never heard Thought Slime ever even call himself a Marxist, let alone the spokesperson for Marxism. Meanwhile, let me just pull this up. Since we're talking about people supposedly having really grandiose views of themselves, Caleb Maupin bio. Now, I'm going to draw your attention to the very top here. This is what Caleb calls himself. Caleb is that voice, that professor, that sage you knew existed, but were never lucky enough to meet. He actually says that this is what he puts, this is his website. He put that on there. Note, there's no actual, there's no attribution of this supposed quote. I mean, so when he tries to present other people as saying that they're presenting themselves as the spokesperson for anything, this is a guy who presents himself as a sage, for fuck's sake. I mean, the more I look at the way he presents himself, the more it's clear to me why he found Kim Jong-il an inspirational figure. He likes cults of personality. He wants his own. He's jealous of Bob Avakian, or is it Avakian? I don't know how he pronounces his name. Avakian, maybe even. Anglicization does terrible things to surnames.
Another great example, Vosh, in his rants, he often will quote Marx saying, the Paris Communards showed that the working class cannot take hold of the ready-made state machinery, but must smash it, that's a legit quote from Marx.
Well, yes, one that you conveniently weren't aware of when you read that video destroying BreadTube by pointing at overproduction in capitalism, which you had previously said was a Malthusian concept. I mean, if you would just kind of admit that you're finding these things out about Marx just from your critics pointing them out in response videos, you'd almost begin to be a little bit more credible.
But he uses that quote to say that Marx did not advocate creating a proletarian state. That's ridiculous. It comes from Karl Marx's lecture, his presentation, The Civil War in France, about the Paris Commune. And he spends the entire next paragraph, the entire next 3 or 4 pages, going into great detail about how the Paris Communards broke apart the capitalist state of France, of Paris, and built new institutions, built new state institutions, new parliaments, new militias, and praising those parliaments and militia. All right. $4.99. All righty. And so,
fortunately, I'm running out of time here.
This is just the situation. I mean, we've got people who they don't know what they're talking about, but more than not knowing what they're talking about, they're being you watch. There's a stream that a couple months back, Vosh did a stream where he was.
See, I mean, this is an example of him sort of lumping. Now, remember, he says that the reason he's not a Nazbol, despite not identifying a single part of the ideology he disagrees with, is that there is no Nazbol political party to be part of. So when it comes to ideological attributions directed at him that he doesn't like but he can't refute, there's no such thing as an ideology. There's either a political party or it doesn't exist, which is why he also claims Dugin. He said this on his Twitter. Dugin isn't even a Nazbol, he says. But when it comes to people to the left of him, though, on the case of Vosh, I'm honestly not sure. I mean, Vosh is actually just another reactionary shitlord, too. But he lumps people together with as much wild abandon as, PragerU does, when they're, conceiving of what the left is, and they sort of lump together. It's like the Democrats and DSA and all this shit. I mean, he puts Vosh in there and Destiny in there. I mean, Destiny hates the online left. He explicitly says so. He is happy to point out how much he hates how much he hates the left. He's actually defended the white supremacist murder gang who killed a bunch of people in Kenosha back during the early days of the uprising. Yeah, and Vosh, I mean, you can't find somebody who's amongst in the circles that are loosely termed BreadTube, which also isn't an organization. So, I mean, if we're going to use the standard you use to deny you're a Nazbol, Caleb, then BreadTube also doesn't exist. And the synthetic left also doesn't exist. Yeah, that's right. But, yeah, so he's actually one of the most possibly controversial figures imaginable, because of all the reactionary shit he does. So lumping him together and using him to discredit people who have a very low opinion of him in a lot of cases makes absolutely no fucking sense. And the only reason to do it is if either you don't know what you're talking about or you hope your audience is ignorant enough that they won't notice what you're doing.
Trying to convince his viewers to vote for Joe Biden. A lot of streams like that.
That's an example of some reactionary shit Vosh does.
Vosh is on there trying to convince his viewers to vote for Joe Biden. And he's got a bunch of quotations from Marx, and from Lenin, and from Mao, to convince everybody to vote for Joe Biden.
I don't know whether this is true, mind you.
It becomes pretty clear he doesn't know what he's talking about.
Which is funny because I know this guy. He sits up on a shitty camera in a bad suit. And when he's not telling a bunch of fascists that he's actually a populist and identifies as more akin to Huey Long, the Louisiana governor who was widely praised at the time by actual card-carrying fascists. Interestingly enough. Yeah. There's this guy with his bad suits and he either looks like he either sets up his shot so it looks like you're in detention or something, or HR or some shit, or like he's in an airplane toilet, and he gives you all these very selective cherry-picked quotes from Marx and everything, often trying to attribute Lenin's ideas to Marx, interestingly enough. And when you actually listen to him try to explain what any of this stuff means, it becomes clear that either he doesn't know what it means, or he's just deliberately, willfully misrepresenting them.
The quotes don't even mean what he says they mean.
Yeah, exactly. That's what so many of us have pointed out about the quotes you use.
He does not understand the contexts of the quotes.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. I mean, is this... we need to watch his eyes here. Is there some kind of insight possibly on the way?
Thank you, Failure First. Much appreciated, right? They haven't shut me down. I'm still here streaming, right? As long as I can still stream, I'm here. He doesn't understand the context of the quotes. He's just, rambling off. And, Hakeem did a video.
See, an example of not understanding the context of the quotes is when you use the... Communist Manifesto to destroy BreadTube, and the bits you relied on were bits that Marx and Engels in a later edition said they wouldn't have written if they had a chance to write it over, because the Paris Commune actually made them reconsider those ideas. Now, did you not understand the context there, or were you just bullshitting?
Debunking this and how just embarrassing it is. Vosh didn't assemble this list of quotes. Somebody assembled it for him. But the people who assembled it for him are...
Yes, I mean, it's not like he has access to search engines and word processors to Google quotes and combine them.
Quite embarrassing also. I mean, the BreadTube universe is particularly cringe. I mean, and I've
yes, the BreadTube universe really is so cringe. Now let me tell you about how much I like Louis Farrakhan and Joti Brar, who by Caleb Maupin's definition, no longer a communist. You see, I mean, I'm saying by his definition, because only by his definition was she ever one to begin with. She was in the CPGBML. Now she's deputy leader of the Patriotic Socialist Workers' Party, which is this thing that's combined with some far-right ex-Laborites and George Galloway. And, yeah. So, if you can only take a political designation if that designation correlates to some actual currently existing organization that you're in, Joti Brar is not a communist. If you take communism to be an idea with principles, then also not a communist, but you get there a different way.
Spent more time thinking about BreadTube than I ever want to spend, really. I mean, I really don't want to think about BreadTube very much anymore. I'm pretty sick of thinking about BreadTube. They're just infuriating, honestly. It's infuriating. ContraPoints has that video, where it's, how to spot a fascist. And of course...
Okay, wait a second. So when did ContraPoints become a BreadTube? I mean...
They say they're not a fascist. I am not a fascist is exactly what a fascist would say, says ContraPoints. You watch the video, anything could be fascist, according to that video. A hand gesture, a phrase.
Well, yes, very specific hand gestures.
This "you're a secret fascist" stuff never applies to Joe Biden, right? How many racial gaffes? Okay. See, and this is becoming a very common talking point with people who are trying to bring fast shit into left circles.
The idea is that supposedly those of us who object to fast shit are fine with it when Democrats do it. Except when you actually ask us, it turns out we fucking hate the Democrats. And none of us particularly likes Joe Biden, who is a white supremacist rapist with a horrible track record. And it's absolutely a disgrace that that the Democratic Party manipulated things to make him the nominee. I mean, see, what the fuck is... I mean, this stuff is such a standard right-wing talking point at this point for people who are trying to sort of weasel fast shit into left circles.
Says Joe Biden.
It's complete bullshit.
But no, he's not a fascist.
Who said he isn't?
Inappropriate actions, says Joe Biden, but everybody knows Joe Biden's not a fascist because he's the status quo.
Yeah, I'd like to know who he's attributing to this. Maybe ContraPoints? I don't know what ContraPoints thinks of Joe Biden. I don't really pay much attention to ContraPoints. I don't give a shit. And also, ContraPoints, this is literally the first time I've ever heard that ContraPoints was supposedly part of BreadTube. But here's the thing. A lot of the people that you're attacking actually would say that Joe Biden, at the very least, is fascist adjacent. Not least because the biggest space of support that modern paramilitary street fascism in the U.S. has is the cops. And Joe Biden loves the cops, wants to give them everything they want, and doesn't understand why it's not mutual. But, I mean, they'll take the fucking money, of course. And with that, unfortunately... wiki listing all the cited... Hi, Grégoire. Sorry, I'm just noticing this. I'm actually wrapping it up. But, when you say cited channels and persons, do you mean that he's citing, that Caleb Maupin there is citing? I don't know if there's a wiki, but I mean, if you just go look up Thought Slime on YouTube, you'll find Thought Slime. I mean, he's easy to find. Vosh, that's V-A-U-S-H, is the spelling, just in case. I've written it down there for you. You can look him up on YouTube, you can find that stuff. But in terms of citations... shit. He is not providing any. He's not, and you should not rely on what he says. He often just makes this stuff up. C'est un type qui raconte pas mal de conneries. Et, à propos, si je fais des commentaires comme ça, en des autres langues, je pourrais. Si tu as des vidéos à me recommander, j'aurais aucun problème, j'aimerais bien. Parce que ça, c'est un stream multilingue. C'est un stream polyglotte. On peut le faire en français, on peut le faire en anglais, en espagnol, en coréen. Je m'en fous. Enfin, ça m'importe très peu. La langue qui se parle dans le chat, c'est la langue que je vais parler, si je peux. Mais maintenant, il faut que j'y aille parce que le reste des gens qui habitent ici est en train de dormir et je ne veux pas les réveiller. Donc, je vais dire bonne nuit et si tu as des vidéos à me recommander pour faire des commentaires comme ça, je t'en prie, j'adorerais de les faire.